purposely invite the rock and roll element into our community?
Well, what's wrong with a little entertainment?
Entertainment is fine, but this... we have lots of big acts that come through here. Ice Capades, Tiny Toons, Kenny G.
Kenny G.
So,
Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones.
Good evening, this is Dr. Bones Live, and today my guest is returning for the second time, and it's been a few years since we talked to him last. Welcome back, Western Jaguar, otherwise known as Jeffrey Trainer. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh man, it's like I said, it's been a long time, because the last time we talked to you, you have a new album out now, but the last time we talked to you, Glacier had been out for a while, and we went over a few things about that, and you're busy with other things, and you're just kind of slowly but surely recording new stuff, and now with this new album, Wayfarer, is that the way you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with the new album Wayfarer, the first song that I played on the show was Bodhi, and right away, myself and my co-host more than knows more than I did right off the hop, is that using new technology, kind of experimenting a bit more. So it's a huge change from Glacier. Now, obviously, since it's been 2 years, there's a lot of time to move and create. Now, have you been writing over those past 2 years? Did you take a break at all, or?
No, I pretty much started writing this album right after Glacier, but the recording process itself, it was kind of different than Glacier because it wasn't me doing it. I actually went with a friend of mine who was taking classes at a music production school, and we recorded. So I think having that experience of going into an actual studio and recording the songs really changed them from how they would have turned out if I kind of recorded them the same way Glacier was recorded.
Well, fair enough. Now, with that being said, Jeff, how I know it's obviously a lot different, but did you find it a lot more, maybe not rewarding, but a lot more interesting this time around?
I wouldn't say it was more interesting or more rewarding, but it was definitely a different experience from the first album. I felt that I had a lot more freedom to put my songs out there. The first album, I was kind of limited with the tools I had, and with this album, I felt I could do more with what I had, and I knew my equipment better and my writing better, so which helped write better songs, in my opinion.
Good point. With well, no, I mean, really, that's all I can follow up with that one. Right? Is that you do have a good point because, we have noticed, and obviously, technology is constantly growing. So there's new and brand new things almost every single day coming out. So it's hard to keep. Go ahead.
The second you release something, it sounds old and outdated.
But you know what? Some of the retro stuff is cool, regardless of that.
Yeah, true.
But it's always fun though, because like we just said, there's always different new technology coming out, and it just not necessarily a matter of keeping up with it, just trying to find what you want to use and what sounds good. Because I mean, you don't necessarily have to keep up with certain technology to make the song sound good. I mean, because you're selling. Yeah. Because you're selling what you've written in your music, and not necessarily selling what production you used.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. And I think the challenge for me is just because it's just myself. So I end up when I'm in that production, writing these albums and stuff, I tend to like overfill it with like instruments and stuff, and then like when I'm stepping away, I'm like, wow, like I put like 15 guitar tracks on this. Like, how could I ever take this to a live setting? So I think in this song, I really tried to restrain myself and not go overboard on like layering or putting too much unnecessary stuff.
No, I know that's the thing is one thing. It's hard to do sometimes because you just there's so much you want to put in. But if you're just doing studio stuff, absolutely, it's fine. There's no problem there. But if you want to take it live, then you got to cut back a little bit, and that can be difficult, especially when you're listening to it. I can just imagine saying, I really like that, I really like that, I really like that. What can I take out?
Yeah, I know. It's like a balancing act. You want to find that balance between like making it sound like interesting and dynamic, but still not making it sound like unplayable.
Exactly, and there are from time to time those happy accidents in the recording, and I mean, I'm speaking from experience here, just because like I'm by nowhere. I'm just an amateur. I'm not going to claim to be any more than that. But I was using InTrack on iPhone, and I was recording a couple of tunes. They still didn't work. Anyways, point being is I was doing the vocals, and it was one of those times I couldn't get. It took me, I don't know, at least 30 tries. I know, and I'm not exaggerating either, because I laid the guitar track down first, and I came back when I do the vocals over instead of singing and playing. So I figured I might be able to get a better. I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought it might work out better that way. And it took me about 30 tries. Yeah. A few seconds too late, a few seconds too early, back and forth. And finally, I got it. And then I got through the second verse, and I was like, oh, damn it, because I messed up one of the words, so I stopped it. But then when I played back after, I had to realize I had layered the vocals. I was like, you know what? That actually sounds pretty good. That was a complete accident, too, so.
No, yeah, I definitely, like, recording, you got to be open to, like, just like experimentation. I do that a lot. Like with the writing, I tend to just have like the bare bones of a song, and then as I'm recording it, I kind of throw in like the rhythm, the guitar parts, and all that kind of stuff.
Now, how have you found that your writing has changed and grown? I mean, I know it's been a few years, but has there been anything specific that's kind of, I guess, maybe not kick-started, but just kind of started to kind of sending you in a bit of a different direction, writing-wise?
Well, I find, I don't know if this is a bad thing, but I find like the music I'm listening to at the time really influences my writing, because I'll hear like a cool song, and I'll hear like a cool jam, and I'll be like, wow, I really want to like bring that into my music. But at the same time, sometimes it gets too much, where it's like I'm writing a song that's total like hardcore rock and roll. And then I have like songs that are like just like electronic music, and it's like, okay, I can't really like bridge the gap between them. So I think the challenge with me, at least, is kind of like reeling everything in and finding that like place where Western Jaguar actually like resides in the musical spectrum.
Right on. Well, but the thing is too is it's not bad, because I mean, the music everybody's writing, whether it's the lyrics or their own music, there's always an influence going on. I mean, I know they have most people have their hardcore influences from whatever period of time, right? But then there's the stuff going on now, because you're always going to hear something new and something different, and it doesn't have to be mainstream stuff either. It can be indie stuff, and just like a simple like riff or a certain program that was used. It may sound really good. It's like, well, you know what? Maybe I can use this for this and change it up. And so it's not a bad thing at all, man. Music is it's constant evolution. So, and everybody's always taking from somewhere, because anybody's saying that, well, I'm not really influenced by today's music, I would find that very hard to believe, because maybe not consciously, but subconsciously they're picking some stuff up and working it in somehow.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And I find like a lot of people ask me, like, oh, is this like, especially with this new album, is this like Western Jaguar? Is this like Want to Sound? And like, I don't know how to answer that question, because I find like every day I'm like, man, I want to write a song like this or write a song like this. So I don't think it's like this static thing that's like Western Jaguar is this sound. I like to think of it as something that's like ever changing with my taste.
Well, no, and that's good though, because it's just constantly keeping open. We'll say open to suggestion. Because because a lot of people know, like most people, not most people, but a lot of the bands I've talked to, at least in the indie scene, they don't want to typecast themselves or say, well, no, we're this specifically, because we're really not, because we're a mix of this, that, and the other thing. So we're not we're not gonna kind of generalize into one music genre, even though there's like 50 million of them now, and it's hard to keep up, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, genreification kind of bites you in the butt sometimes because it's kind of hard to pin down. Like everyone nowadays is indie rock,
right?
But like because it's just like the easiest way to describe like music. If you're playing like rock music, so
absolutely, man. I tell you, some of the stuff I've seen, like literally in the past few years, like okay, I've never heard of that one. I've never heard of that one.
Yeah,
the music's cool, but math rock, geek rock. Wait, what? You know, it's like
yeah, I know, yeah. There's a new genre every day.
So I mean, the music's good, but I just like okay. And then I remember trying to find clarification, like asking one of the bands, like, what exactly do you mean? Well, it's kind of nerdy, but it's fun. It's like okay, that kind of makes sense. I can kind of see where you're getting with that, but. Are we talking nerds like Revenge of the Nerds, or are we talking like, you know?
Yeah.
So, a couple little sidetracks there. Sorry about that. We'll get back on track here.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's all right.
But we're actually going to take a quick little break here, and we're going to listen to the first track that was played on the show, and the first track you pretty much released. And this one is Bodie up a Wayfarer. This is Western Jaguar. Dig this. Right. Western Jaguar with Bodie. Now, this song, I know it's been probably a few weeks since I listened to it the first time and I made my comments on it, but listening to it again, it really, really reminds me of old Rolling Stones. Vocally and the soul at the end, man. But I really, really dig it. I mean, I like it because it's got that little twist on it, and it sounds really good. Like I said, vocally and musically, it sounds that way. And now lyrically it's cool too, but yeah, it reminds me of like early Rolling Stones. I'm talking like early '60s. I'm not talking '70s, like early to mid '60s.
Yeah. Well, thanks. That's a good compliment. Whenever you can get mentioned in the same sentence as the Rolling Stones, that's a good thing.
So
yeah, it's definitely a lot different than like the other stuff I did on like Glacia. It's more like straightforward, like rock and roll.
Well, that's right. I mean, because Glacia was a little more electronic, kind
definitely.
of, sort of, you know.
Yeah. No, yeah, I 100% agree.
But with this one, I mean,